What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael and welcome to FudgeMuppet. Today is a very exciting day. So much Fallout 76 that we've seen at Bethesda's E3 showcase. And in this video, I want to go through all of the creatures in it from both the first trailer that was also at the Microsoft conference and also from all of the footage shown afterwards. So first up, we'll start with the first trailer. We have got the Grafton Monster. This is from West Virginian folklore. It's basically just this big burly monster with pale seal-like skin. It's just a big gross hunk of flesh, and as we find out later, it's very intimidating. It's strong. It attacks with massive big swipes and slams with its gigantic arms. Next up, we have this kind of weird lizard spiny creature that we later find out is called a Snallygaster. It has a massive long tongue which comes out, but more on that later because we've got much better shots to show you. The next thing in the first trailer was this giant flying bat looking thing. A lot of people, when Scott made the video, said it's not a mutated bat, it's the Mothman, which would make sense with the West Virginia theme, but as we find out later, this is actually called a Scorched Beast. It flies around and it really does look like a bat, but it also definitely reminds me of dragons from Skyrim. Stick around for a lot of footage on this guy. Then we have this shot here. At first, no one knew what these two glowing eyes down on the right were, but as we will soon find out, that is actually a creature. It kind of looks like a Mirelurk, but a lot more insectoid and less crab-like. It's got insectoid eyes, and it's got an antenna that come out from its head, and it seems to have little spindly legs underneath it. There's also these robots that show up throughout the trailers called Liberators. I don't know a whole lot about them, but they seem to come in swarms like a horde-based enemy, and they jump at you and try and attack you. And now for a big favorite of mine, this disgusting mutated frog toad looking thing. I don't know what this is, and we don't actually get a name for it, but there is both concept art of it here. You can see with its crazy teeth, it's just covered in a disgusting green skin with a bunch of massive red eyes. And in this piece of footage here, we actually get to see it run and jump. I think this is an incredibly cool new creature, like nothing we've ever seen before. And a lot of the creatures in this seem to be very new. They're not just reskinned death claws called gator claws. We're getting a lot of variety here, which I'm a massive fan of. Here we have a book showing the Grafton Monster called The Beast of Grafton. And here is a shot of this Grafton Monster with its massive swing, huge powerful swipes, and then we move on to this insectoid kind of enemy. I have no idea what this is. It kind of looks like a wasp, but then obviously very different. It's not flying, it's crawling on the ground. Honestly, it reminds me of an insectoid fantasy creature from The Witcher, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. And what's interesting about this enemy is that it actually seems to emit swarms of other tiny little insects from the hive which sits on its body, and I'm pretty damn sure that those little insects will make you take damage. To me, this really just looks like a blend of a bunch of different insects into one. I can't really pick one thing and say this is definitely it. But if we move on, we find this small little man or creature. I'm not sure what to call this. It looks very creepy outside a mine wearing a gas mask. So my guess is this is some kind of mole man fantasy weird warped human being. He's really short, but he still has massive hands and they do not look lively. And we'll see more of this guy later on. Now here we have something, speaking of Witcher, this looks like it comes right out of Witcher. This is a disgusting looking golem-y creature with a protruding belly, a really alien looking head, and big hands and feet and huge joints. This is disgusting, and we actually see though, he doesn't walk around like that. If it's what I think later on, he actually moves around on all fours. I don't know what he's based off, but my only assumption is that it's some kind of mutated human. It's not like on Earth we have other creatures that look exactly like this, and I wouldn't say it's a monkey or anything like that. So I'm just definitely going to say this seems to be like a mutated human, but I'm not sure why he looks like this. Here we have the Snallygaster back in action. You see it running towards us. Its massive, disgusting tongue come out of its mouth, very dangerous teeth. Again, a raptor-like creature running on all fours, perhaps even all sixes from this picture, showing two things protruding down from the back of his body. I don't think those are udders. I'm gonna guess those are feet. This really reminds me of something straight out of Monsters, Inc. And here we see it sitting back on its back, 4 feet, with 2 of the limbs looking more like hands. And now we're brought to that insectoid creature I was talking about. I'm not sure what this is, but you can see it has those fly-like segmented eyes glowing brightly. Maybe this is based off the Mothman, but I don't think so. This looks definitely like some sort of other creature. Like I said, it reminds me a bit of a Mylurk, but it just seems much too insect-like to me. It really reminds me of a Kabuto from Pokemon. But next, we move on to this scene where we do in fact see that super mutants are confirmed as an enemy. We've got Super Mutant Enforcer, level 28. Very dangerous stuff, but as we said, super mutants are somehow here. Whether they've come over from Vault 87 or there's some other thing that Bethesda comes up with in the lore, whatever you want to say, the super mutants, as we thought, do feature in the game. And here we have what I thought was that golem-like humanoid creature, but moving on all fours. I know it looks very different in this stance, but if you look, it does have the big knees, the very scary head, the kind of protruding belly, and the big disgusting hands. So I would say that's the same monster, and man, does it look scary when it swipes. And now for a personal favorite of mine, I absolutely love this, a giant mega sloth. Suddenly that slow sloth has become a lot bigger, a lot faster, although it's not a super fast creature, still fast for a sloth, and it is extremely dangerous. It seems like a pack of friends are going to be a massive help when it comes to taking down this guy. And in the next scene, we see another one of those mole men things, and he actually has some kind of claw apparatus on his hand that he uses to attack these people with. And then we've got more of the Grafton Monster, so it seems like it's not just one Grafton Monster. It seems like there's going to be a lot of these enemies in the game, not just the one. Here are some more Liberators in action, jumping around, being annoying, and we've got more Super Mutants, this time back to destroy the settlement you've built. So don't get too attached to those, because it seems like you're going to be defending them just like you had to in Fallout 4. But how about the Scorched Beast? Here we are. We've got this giant flying bat-like thing. This is incredibly intimidating. This could probably be my favorite creature in the entire Fallout universe. Don't quote me on it because I'm extremely hyped right now, but this looks very, very cool, very bat-like as it flies around. It's kind of like a flying Deathclaw. If you thought a Deathclaw couldn't get worse, this is like a Deathclaw with wings. And like Golbat from Pokemon, another Pokemon reference, it seems to be shooting these supersonic circular blasts as its attack. So I'd definitely say this is based on a bat, and it's extremely cool. And here's a photo of it dead. And then we have Scorched Conquerors. Now, at first I thought these were ghouls because they kind of look like ghouls, but I'm going to go ahead and say they're like half ghouls, like they're on the way to ghouls. You see them swinging weapons, even though they're kind of like feral ghouls, but I don't know, they seem more coordinated, picking up that fire axe there, and they're not called ghouls, so I thought perhaps the ghouls were renamed in this game, but then later we see a feral ghoul Reeva, who is referred to as a ghoul. So again, perhaps the Scorched Conquerors are half ghouls, people who didn't become full-on ghouls. And if you've remembered anything from Fallout games, it's that the feral ghoul Reeva can be incredibly hard to kill, so definitely take it easy with that one. Here we have another Snallygaster, except this one is glowing, again showing that creatures are going to have different variants in the game. This is incredibly dangerous. We see green on its tongue, it's very gross, and it's in an irradiated zone that I'm assuming the players nuked and have now visited to get their hands on some better gear and fight some more dangerous enemies. We also see a glowing Deathclaw, but this one is diseased, again showing just another layer of complexity to the variety of creatures and how normal creatures have different variants. And that wraps up all of the creatures so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love your opinions in the comments below about what some of the more confusing ones in this video were. What do you think that little thing with the glowing eyes is actually based off? And which one do you think is going to be the most powerful out of all of them? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe for heaps more Fallout 76 content. We're going to be making a ton, especially when the game releases. We're going to be covering absolutely everything. My name is Michael, and I look forward to nerding out with you again very soon.